Hey people, Broken Puppet, and this is how to draw Deadpool. Enjoy. Hey people, how to draw Deadpool. That's my first video of the new year, so Happy New Year. Or if it's like 6 months down the line, have a nice day. Right, so to start with, let's get yourself in. A circle. Simple as that, done. Nah, I'm just kidding. So, come down now, from the top, create a curve. Come from this side, coming down, and curving back out the other way a bit to the bottom. Come off the side of the circle, just create a nice curve, fairly straight, just come off the side, curving a little bit inwards, sorry, a bit concave. And bring a line across, like so. So you cut where this line comes down, about the same distance back this side. From here, you can bring this line up, and then another line here, just cutting into the circle a little bit, so almost towards the edge, just a little bit on the inside, just there, like so. And that basically just creates the jaw section. And then bring a line across, cutting through like this circle shape, so create a circle bit, just cutting through it, just there. And then we're going to have one eye here, another eye here. The nose detail is going to be fairly simple because he's wearing a mask and everything. We have his like neck bit here, we have some swords here, and we have some lettering underneath. So to start with, let's get the head shape right. So I'm going to bring up this curve roughly to about there. I'm going to come to this point, just a bit above the eye, slightly curve the other way, but going up towards the same point. Bring that up. When we get here, we're going to go a bit straight across. Come across outside the circle now. Just go a little loop there. A little baggy bit just on the end of his hood. Typical Deadpool, what he always says. Then I'm going to come down and I'm going to go to the eyes now. Now on this eye is going to be fairly squint. I want this one to be quite sort of small. And this one's going to be much wider. And this one's going to be classic Deadpool, almost like diamond-eyed. So where you got this oval shape, just bring a line coming down, almost to a point, and then curve the other way. Come out a little bit just there. So you curve just a little bit further out, just there. Curve this up, quite high, and then come down. So you can see you kind of making like a diamond shape out of it almost. Just filling into this circle shape. And if you want, you can sort of like sketch in a rough circle around the eye, and a smaller one just around this eye. And coming up just from the side bit of that cheek, just a line there, a line curving off at the back, just there. Now this isn't shape, this is sort of positioning where like the parts around the eyes are going to go. So come from here, so you know roughly about sort of nose length is where you want the bottom of these to be. So this is going to kind of come up, not quite diamond, you want it to come up here, and when you get here you want to bring a line across, so line up, line across, line down to the bottom. So I like to make the bottom bit kind of point to the stitching, but the top bit of stitching here to come in this straight section. So it's almost diamond. You see if this line carried on it would have been diamond shaped, but we cut it just before then. Just bring in a little symmetric line just kind of the inside of it, just a tiny little distance apart. And what we're going to do, just underneath this eye bit, just create a double sort of diamond shape, you know, around the eye. So this is going to curve down, curve up, getting closer to the eye, so a wider gap here, come up, it's going to come up, come across there, and I'm going to have him a bit kind of like angry face. I'm going to bring a circular motion just here, flick this out, flick that one there, and I can kind of like come there and just flick the other way a little bit on that corner. And then just bring this last bit of the diamond bit just down the bottom there. I bring in line up here, touching this bottom part of this part. And then here, this one, You can go there, and we can have the shading underneath. Now the shading will really tell the shape of that. You know, don't worry too much about it. And then underneath here, this eye, pretty much the same sort of thing. So we're going to bring in line here, turn that eye shape. It's going to come out there, slightly at an angle, so you've got a bit of a hit in that cheekbone. That can come down to the bottom bit. This line can come up there, and across. And another line just above the eye, just here, just there. And a little line just dividing at the top, just there. Just another curved line there, just to sort of show a bit angry face. Now coming here, just cut across this line here, across this bit, about the same sort of length as the bottom of these. Just a little line across and a little hint of a line just there. You can put a few little lines just there if you want. Little line across, a couple of line there. Just sort of sketchy across, so it's kind of got that kind of comic style. Little line there maybe. And that pretty much does it. You know, once you sort of like put all the line work in, it sort of does space. Now to get the neck, so we're going to come out from outside of this line. I'm going to make a couple little kind of little bits. So little line come out, little line in. Just where the costume's kind of fitting around him. And then once it gets about here, sort of towards the bottom bit, not quite the bottom of the chin, but just a tiny bit above it. Bring that across. We're going to bring in his black collar. It's going to come there. It's about that. And I'm going to have this banner. It's going to come across here. Let's get this up in the right position. Come across. So a nice curved line, just come across there. And then off the side of it, just curve underneath. Curve around. And just curve that out. So you just create nice bends with like sharp turns coming across until you get the edge you want. And then come out the back of your shoulders here, just do two big rectangles. One going at that angle. One that angle. And that's going to be like these swords. I'll teach you how to do the pattern in the swords in a minute. But now we've done that, I'm just going to plot in the face details. I'm going to use two different line widths. One thick, one thin. One's going to be like a basic bold outline, and the other for all the detailing bits. So it's going to use a Sharpie to begin with. I was going to use that one, but that one's running out. And come there. So I'm literally just going to go around the outside part of the face. So part of the banner. Okay, there. The base collar will come underneath there, to say that. In that shoulder. I'm just going to do the two outer lines of this because I ain't decided what I'm going to do for the top part of the sword yet. I'm going to add any detail in. Kind of make that as we go along. You can kind of see that's it, mainly for the big bold outline. And then grab my final liner. I sort of do all those little inside bits now. This is just a uni pin, thickness 0.8. When it comes here, just made this bit like a little bit to the side so it kind of fits in with the overlap. Just bring in that symmetric line we told you about. So you're literally just following it around, so you're just making like a little tubular bit just around the outside. Outside sort of stitching line I told you about. Those little comic lines I told you about, just keep them fairly straight. Sometimes looking back on them, can have your little cross hatch bits if you want, you know, just like lines going to come across. Don't go too crazy with it just yet, you know, you can add more later if you feel like you need. But just add the ones you kind of feel like, you know, need to be there at the minute. Just add that. Just get my rubber. Just rub out that pencil work. And then we've got one bit. I'll do the rest of the band a bit around there in a sec. I'll just like putting that bit in to begin with. So what am I going to put in there? Let's just see what the letters fit. Two, three, four, five, six, seven, 1, 2. So do letter, I'm just gonna what it is, I'm gonna put in like Captain Deadpool. So I counted the letters, so you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in Captain, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in Deadpool. So do a line down the centre, slightly more to this side because this one's got 7 letters, this one's gonna have 8. So just start there, leave a little space and just divide it into your numbers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. Bring a little line from the bottom, little space from the top. Don't take off too much though, you want it to be fairly close to the top and the bottom. You want those letters to kind of fill in those gaps. And basically in each one of these gaps now you can put your letters, so you kind of spaced it out right. Now I've got it in pencil first, so I'm going to do this kind of fancy lettering. It's kind of cool, kind of sketchy. You know, you can do any kind of lettering you want really. Captain. So for this one, it's basically sort of like straight lines across, and when you get to the bottom, you basically just reshape them. That's the general. I mean, when I do lettering, I sort of just try to make up a rule for my lettering, and just kind of stick with it. Like, you know, your top section of where that goes, your bottom bits. And by sticking to those rules means it all kind of matches up into one style. So just sort of tell yourself, right, I'm going to do this, you know, for this type of lettering. I'm going to make this straight edge at the top, you know, this curve at the bottom. I'm going to do this fancy sort of design work. So I'm sticking to it and it just makes it easy. Once that's plotted in there, just get your pen and just go over it. So you see, like sort of straight edge at the top, sometimes a little bit down. Bottom's always going to be a V shape. So straight up, across, down, V shape across. Straight edge across, those little side bits down, line down the middle. There's no V at the bottom because it's a straight line. Straight line, a little dot at the top, so as Per said, I'm just going to put an X. And see, across, down, V shape, up, cross, down, V shape. Well, that's pretty much it, and it actually kind of resembles his eyes a bit in it. Two little dots in there for that. And if you want to thicken up any parts, you can. If you want to sort of like, you know, make it more fancy, you can. So now I've done that, I'll probably just thicken it up a touch. So it might go thick and thin towards the ends. There you get to learn how to do Deadpool and some lettering in one tutorial. But to be honest, lettering's not my strong point. Never has been. Probably never will be. I can do like, you know, like Latino style lettering and stuff and some fancy bits, but by no means am I a specialist when it comes to lettering. Captain Deadpool. And then it's going to put a red line through the captain. Because he changed his mind. So now I'm just going to put in my blacks. So it's got a brush marker here, Winsor & Newton brush marker. You can use whatever you guys want. Use pencils, paints, anything you guys want. Don't feel like you have to use what I use. You can if you want. It's not expensive. You can get them pretty much anywhere. So what I'm doing is black just on this side part there. Black there. Black on this under part of the eye. Fading out as we come across. That line we've done up the centre. I'm blacking off the side of that. Black out this curve. Coming up that. Leaving a little gap just there for a hint of that. Line there maybe. Same on this side, so just underneath that point net. Come right in that part of the eye, that top section just there can be blacked in. I'm just going to flick it in some corner bits, so just there, just where it kind of sits in the corner. There. I mean, this bit here will be black anyway, so I'm going to flick the black in and put it like a nice shine in the centre of it. So just leave a little hint of a gap there. It's going to get me grey. Just work over that black. Side to side motion is always the best way to blend these out. You know, if you're going into like lighter and lighter tones, you can get a nice, really smooth transition. If it's a small section, don't worry too much about it. You just kind of fade into it. Or you can kind of flick if it's just a little section, it makes no difference really, so. Shadow just underneath that eye. This can go into my lighter grey. This grey will pretty much blend out to nothing on this paper. It'll look darker while it's wet, but you see as it dries, it just goes to nothing. It just helps blend out those corners. And then just like look at it and just make your adjustments if you feel you need any. Like just here, I'm seeing a pretty cool line for a black just there. With black just on that corner. Get some black just there. You know, always just trust your eyes. If you look at it, just kind of squint and just feel like where would the shading look good. And don't hold back, you know. Don't worry about if you're going to ruin your design. Just put it in there, you know. If you ruin it, you know, for next time, not to do it that way, but that's how you learn. You've got to make mistakes. So now it's going to put in some greys. Just on like the parts of the face that would be shadows. So just on this nose section, just a little line there for the mouth. Some grey coming across it for that cheekbone. Just here underneath these eye parts. Little line just flicking up. Bit just flicking at that top part above it. So I'm coming off this next section just here. Shoulder bits, a bit from the side of his face maybe. Just like so. And I'm going to grab me one of my reeds. Still check make sure this one is running out. That was good. So I'm just going to go over the face with my red, and then I'll throw in some brown and go over it with some red again afterwards if need be. I'll add some white highlights. Where you see me add the white highlights later, if you're using white paper, you can just leave blank if you don't use white pencil. So if you want, you can kind of fast forward to the end, just see where I do the highlights, and you can kind of leave those sections blank if you choose to. Being neater than I am, I'm being a bit messy. I probably went over a few little lines that I probably shouldn't have. Gonna camouflage some of these. Come a little bit of black maybe. these corners. There we go. So now it's going to get me a brown, slightly darker than the red. Just flicked over some of the shading bits, just to reinforce that shadow. And just help that nice smooth transition blend. Now we've done that, I can work on the sword, so it's going to add 2 rectangular bits just on the top of these, just like so. Coming down these, just bringing diagonal lines across, roughly the same distance apart, and then start from the bottom, bring a line across, and come across to the second one. So you start here, come across one gap, connect to the second, start just a bit above it, one gap to the second, one gap to the second, one gap to the second. By the time you finish, you have that diamond effect up the centre. You know, I'll do a bit more neater as I'm doing it. So you can kind of see what I'm on about. But when I put it out, I put it in now and you see it a lot more clearly. So I'm gonna bring these lines across. Getting roughly about the same distance apart. Then each one are going to come across. So you go across one to the second. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. So on this side, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And there's rectangles at the top. Alright, people. So I just finish off doing the lines, and just put a black down the sides, colouring these side bits grey, building the inner side bits in red, except for the one down there, because I put in the wrong bloody colour on another one, which I'll probably black in a sec. And I just put like a brown tone, going into like a flesh tone, just blending out from the corners, just on the scroll. So don't worry, I didn't miss too much, that's literally all you guys missed. Sorry, my camera goes off every once in a while, it's just annoying when it does it. So now it's going to add in some highlights. So it's got me a white pencil here. This one's a Faber-Castell white. Don't normally colour in the eyes solid white, but Deadpool's eyes are notoriously known for being white. I think a little highlight shine just wouldn't do them justice. So for that there, and I'm just going to flick in some white just on some of the edges, just to create a highlight. And let's send a bit there. A little bit there, just on the centre parts, just to kind of give that sort of like highlight on that part where it bends on the face. Just a little bit there. And just a little bit, just to show the shape a bit. So where this kind of curves up, just on the inside part. Just a little bit on the nose, chin, cheek. A little bit on that shape. So you see, just using it to kind of tell the shape, you know, rather than anything else. You know, nothing too dramatic. Some white through the centre of that collar bit. Just at the edge of those swords. A little bit just on the side, the top parts. Just a little bit, just off the top of this corner, just as it curves here. Then on the bottom part of this, as it curves the other way. Just like that. Then put on the edge. Put on the edge. Then lastly, grab me the right colours. I might do this bit of orange on the pencil. So yeah, typical kind of like explosion bit. So just got like sharp edges kind of bending off. Go around the edge of those with my Sharpie. Just like so. I'm just going to colour this in. Should I do orange or blue? Orange or blue, orange or blue, orange or blue. Blue will contrast nicely, but orange will look good. But orange is on the top bit. I'm going to go blue actually because I've got plenty of reds in there and it's all in the same kind of tone. So just colouring in blue. Don't know before this one runs out. Just like that, and then lastly, just going to add a white highlight just around his edge. Inside the explosion parts. Just like so. And there you have it. That is how to draw Deadpool. Or Captain Deadpool. Or just Deadpool. Hope you like it. I'm the Broken Puppet. Comment, subscribe, like, yada yada yada. I'm the Broken Puppet. As I've said twice now. Jesus Christ, I'm repeating myself. I'll see you next time. Peace.